Since the last stream, it was revealed towards the tail end of the last stream that Epstein is so goddamn nasty. He got banned from Xbox Live back in 2013. And to that I say, do you know how nasty of a person you got to be to get banned off of Xbox Live? I was deep in them Xbox Live servers. I was in the, when people say you wouldn't have survived a Call of Duty lobby. I remember somebody said that to me on Twitter like a month ago. I laughed. It had to have been a Twitter bot or somebody who never seen my content. I wouldn't have survived. It was something I had said on Twitter. He's like, you would have, pussy. You would have never survived in those Call of Duty lobbies. Nigga, I was the Call of Duty lobby. I say that to say this. I was wilding in them lobbies back in the early 2010s. And even I didn't get banned off Xbox Live. Now, what's the update? For those who don't follow politics, real world shit, because you like to be ignorant and stupid, you know, and then complain about why your life is miserable, maybe you should pay attention to what's going on, but that's a different conversation for a different day. Late last week, 3 million more of the Epstein files were released, which, by the way, I believe we're only at like 40 to 50%. There's still millions of more files that need to be released, and they're also like 45 days late. But in them 3 million files, people are combing through them, and I said the day that those files released, I said give it at least 72 hours because the world's got to comb through it. You know the internet detectives. Since then, Jay-Z's been found on the list. Pusha T. We knew Bill Clinton's nasty. We knew that nigga was nasty.
Lock him up.
Oh, man.
Lock him up.
Trump's been all over it. And a whole lot more people. What happened towards the end of that stream is more news came out in regards to Epstein and the video game stuff. Something that I could not have predicted. So in case you don't follow the news, what else came out in those Epstein files was additional emails reveal Jeffrey Epstein's advisors were talking to former Activision CEO Bobby Kotick about microtransactions in Call of Duty back in 2013. That's right, ladies and gentlemen. He may have not been the sole reason, but Jeffrey Epstein not only is a fucking diddler, not only is he a blackmail artist that ran a secret cabal on a fucking island, this man is also partially responsible, for one of the worst trends to grow in gaming in the last 20 years. In the email, they're talking to Bobby Kotick, and he says, this is crazy, this word. I'm all for indoctrinating kids into an economy, aka Jeffrey Epstein wanted to get the kids not only diddled, Dr. Disrespected, but he wanted them to get addicted to gambling, loot crates. And you know what's funny? Before I even read even further, I remember when I dropped a video last year. Matter of fact, let me go ahead and do some promo. So maybe you should go back and watch that shit. I dropped a video titled The Dark Psychology of Microtransactions. And there were a lot of people in the comments telling me, bro, it's not that deep. Because in it, which by the way, I was citing research, like actual research that was done by medical staff, papers that were cited in whatever. Basically gambling, casinos and different gambling companies, they use various tactics to get people sucked into the world of gambling. An example I know they use for, like, I don't want to say a specific name, but like gambling apps. If you gamble a lot with certain types of parlay apps, they'll send you a notification saying, hey, you know, normally you spend a lot of money with us, but we haven't seen you in a week. Here's 20 bucks on your account. Go ahead and, you know, do a little gambling, do a little parlay. They use flashing lights and beautiful colors to manipulate the receptors in your brain to get super excited, to give you a dopamine hit and get you addicted to this stuff. And they've taken those psychological tricks and they've implemented them into video games with loot crates. If you ever noticed, it's the same exact thing. It's like a slot machine, whatever. It would seem that Epstein back in 2013 was advocating for this concept. He said, you gotta love how his example of his real world rewards is virtual items in games. And he's talking to Bobby Kotick, which, by the way, Kotick is another person. He had to step down from Activision, for those unaware. He was the CEO of Activision. He stepped down last year. They said he was retiring, but really there was a lot of pressure on his ass because he's been accused of SA several times. And now that he's been affiliated with Epstein, it's all but believable that he is a piece of shit. X Prize is a good idea, but key is real world rewards. Learn to read, cell phone minutes, iPhone credits, virtual in-game credits, virtual in-item games, basically. So I know it sucks to say this, but I feel like this is one of those, what's going on right now in the United States, these files coming out, is some shit we haven't seen. Like, for those who don't follow politics, they made Jimmy Carter sell his peanut farm. This nigga Trump has made $3 billion off a crypto scam last year. That's more money than he's ever made in terms of profit in his entire career. For all the people that support him and swear he's the most efficient businessman on earth, and that's why he should have been president. First of all, that's stupid because a government shouldn't be ran like a business. That's why you guys don't get any fucking benefits, but y'all not ready for that conversation. He's a scam artist. That video was fire. I appreciate you. Go watch that video. Turns out I was fucking right. This email proves it. He wanted to get the kids hooked on the gambling. For all the people that say, oh, it's not that fucking deep. It is. It is. This is the craziest shit we've seen since all the conspiracies during the fucking Vietnam War. We are living in historical times, and I think it's important for some of y'all to fucking start paying attention. Just keep an eye, sleep with, because we don't know how this shit gonna turn out. I feel like people are not angry enough. And part of the reason I feel like people are not angry enough, there's a few reasons. By the way, I've never been suicidal. I was just talking about this with somebody else. Very weird. These files and all these documents are coming out and mainstream media is not talking about it. And when I say mainstream media, I'm not talking about Fox. I'm talking about all of them. Fox, CNN, MS Now, aka MSNBC, NBC. Ain't none of them talking about it. Why is that? Acting like this shit doesn't fucking exist. So that's part of the problem. So the information isn't being properly spread. You have to be chronically online to know that this stuff is going on. It's very weird that it's very radio silent right now. I have some theories, but I'm not gonna state. We're not gonna go into that because I'm not trying to get shot. So yeah, there's radio silence. And me personally, I'm a proponent of whatever gets you into paying attention in what's going on in the real world. I hate that it had to be this. But maybe this will make some of y'all start paying attention. For the people who would say on Hokage highlights in the comments, it's not that deep, TBH. Why are you talking about this shit? This man has ruined everything. He's ruined people's lives. He's ruining government. He's ruining video games. This shit is deeper. It's deeper than rap, bro. It's deeper than fucking rap. And keep in mind, those files came out like mid last week. There were 3 million files. People are not done combing. More info is going to come out. We got to start questioning why people aren't talking about it. Bill Clinton was impeached for a BJ. I just saw that they plan to testify in front of Congress. That nigga in trouble too. Lock him up. He a fucking freak.
Lock him up.
Oh, man.
Lock him up.
Oh, I already got that story. No need to link it. So not only is he associated with the early stages of microtransactions in gaming, is deeper than rap, chat. You know who else was in them files? You know who else needs to be?
Lock him up.
Oh, man.
Lock him up.
Ex-Rockstar North president Leslie Bensley accused of SA in the Epstein files. That's right, ladies and gentlemen. Your beloved Grand Theft Auto is in them files. Now, granted, it's not the current CEO, it's the former one. But that being said, it did work for Rockstar. If you don't know who this guy is, he's the CEO of the current company. I think it's Rocket Boy Games or something like that. The makers of last year's biggest shitstorm, Mind's Eye, aka Pink Eye. Yeah, you remember in the Mind's Eye trailers when it said former Rockstar developers? This guy, he used to be the CEO of Rockstar. He left to form his own studio and made Mind's Eye. So, if it wasn't bad enough that he arguably released one of the worst games of all time and just ruined our fucking eyes with that bullshit known as Pink Eye, now the Epstein files are saying this nigga's a diddler. Yeah, it's deeper than rap. It's deeper. Don't be surprised if more shit comes out. And I feel like people are underreacting to this shit, man. I'm telling y'all, until we see billionaires jumping out of windows trying to absolve their shame, we ain't getting nowhere near the truth. I feel like it's gonna get darker. Yeah, I feel like we're on the surface level, and the shit's gonna keep getting fucking worse. I knew Mind's Eye gave me Epstein vibes. Bro, it's crazy how many people is in them files. It's not. It's really not. It's kind of just, you remember back in the, if you're older, like me, I'm 35. If you remember back in the early 2010s of YouTube, when them Illuminati videos started coming out, y'all remember that? I remember it was like 1 week where like I watched every Illuminati secret society video on YouTube, the lights off, scary as hell, but noise, man, ooh, what the hell was that? That shit might end up, which by the way, I've never been suicidal, but that shit might be. Because judging by these files, there's some crazy shit going on, and it's starting to look like I'm starting to side eye a lot of people. I've said it on this stream as somebody who lives in Hollywood. Do not get it twisted. You can make money in Hollywood, in the entertainment industry. But if you want to get to a certain level, it always felt like since I got here, gotta be a little bit weird. Gotta be a little bit weird. Demonic shit. You can make a few 100,000. You can make the low millions. Being 100% honest, doing nothing weird, just networking. But when you get to a certain level, it does feel like girl says hi. Oh, what up, girl? I see you in the chat. I see you. What up? What up? What up? Oh, I didn't even peep. Oh, I appreciate you with the raid. Oh, my bad. Yo, we going into whole conspiracy. Hey, you guys are coming in at a weird time. We're talking conspiracy theories right now. So this is probably a weird first impression. We're talking about the Epstein files and some gaming related stuff that was in the Epstein files and Hollywood. I've always felt like that since I've been here. It is weird. It's fucking weird, man. I'm side-eye. I've always felt like specifically, because I personally think, I really appreciate the raid, by the way. Welcome to the stream, y'all. I always spend the first couple hours of my stream talking about gaming news. I always felt like, I'm not gonna say no names, but as somebody who's been in this gaming space for 18 years, you can track my career and it's been very organic. It's always been a natural, just kind of slow upward, but there have always been certain people, even in the streaming industry, because I think this cabal is not just music, TV, movies, and video games. I think some of it is I think the streaming shit has been infiltrated too. I've always felt like, because I always look at things from the standpoint of, I try not to be a hater. I'll be like, okay, I don't like this. This is not my demographic, but I understand and I can also trace your story. But then I look at other people and I'll be like, where did you come from? Where did you come from? I don't know, man. I'm so glad you said it. You right. Never been suicidal. I'm gonna keep saying that. I've been said that since I've been streaming. We're gonna keep an eye on this, but I'll say this at the very minimum. Do not be surprised if more gaming CEOs come out and they're in these files, and I feel like people are not mad enough. I'm trying to figure out what's gonna make people angry. People are getting shot in the streets. Diddlers are getting exposed in the paperwork, and people are just going to work. America, world, wake up. Yo, shout out to Watts with the big raid as well. We getting lots of love too. We go a little bit more in depth in this in the latest podcast. I run a podcast, Gaming Illuminati, youtube.com/GI updates. Available on Amazon, Spotify, all that bullshit. I'm getting all my coworkers and neighbors mad. I'm constantly informing them. It's time to wake up. You cannot be asleep. So that's on the heavier note. I swear, for the people who are new in here, we don't always talk about shit this damn heavy. That's more on the heavier note. On a more lighthearted note, Just wanted to keep you guys updated on what's going on in the world. Feel free to, you can download the files and read them yourself if you want. On a more lighthearted note, it would seem that the community seems to really enjoy the 5v5 mode that was implemented late last year in Highguard, and they've decided to make it a permanent mode. W, devs in the chat. When I played this last week, the 5v5 mode, I think they peaked at like 15,000 that night, which is good because at its low, I think its lowest, it was at like 4,000 or 5,000. And then the other night when I checked, it was like at 11,000. So it seems like they're fighting back. It's trending upwards. There's hope for it. I'm not saying this game is going to be the next big thing, but I will commend them for trying. They're taking feedback. 5v5 is cool, but in my opinion, it's a little too chaotic. I think that they should try 4v4. I think that might be the sweet spot because I don't think the bases, the raids are really built for the 5v5. And the open field, it's fine, but the raiding section, it feels like it's a little bit too much. Cat Williams did say a lot of people are gonna get exposed. He did say it. So if you have any interest in Highguard, it's free to play. They did add the 5v5 mode. It's permanent. It originally was just an experimental test mode. It's now staying in the game, and I hope they continue to experiment. I think this game really would have benefited from them doing a beta and getting feedback beforehand. But hey, you fucked up. You're here now. At least they're trying to fix it. They're taking the route of we're building the plane as we fly it. We'll see if they'll be able to land it. I agree, 4v4 would be nice. Yeah, I feel like in 5v5, sometimes you get shredded way too quickly. Like some of the maps are just not. Need to fix that intro screen though. It's looking rough. That's like a small thing. Like they need to focus more on the gameplay, optimization, the quality of life features. That's something small that they can fix later. That's not a big deal. Like I promise you, an intro screen is not going to make or break whether or not somebody plays it. It's about the game. More Highguard news. Highguard devs say it doesn't matter if the game reaches 1,000 or 100 million people. Chad Grenier, the studio head at Wildlife Entertainment and the director of the free-to-play raid shooter Highguard, has says it doesn't matter how many people play the game. Speaking of Polygon, Grenier said, whether it gets 1,000 people or 100 million people, it doesn't matter. What matters most is that the game is loved by people who played it. He added that his hope is that Highguard becomes a game that people love and become a part of them. And then they go on to say Highguard launched in late January and reached nearly 100,000 peak concurrent players on Steam before eventually dropping off. Blah 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 blah. I gotta call Cap on this. You know, I'm rooting for the devs. I do like the game, but it does need some adjustments, and I gotta call Cap on this statement. I have no doubt in my mind he's not lying when he says he just wants people to enjoy the game. But the reality is that I got to go to the Highguard event. I got to see what I'm assuming is their studio. Well, no, it might not have been their studio. It might have just been like a area they rented out to show off the game. At bare minimum, I saw a lot of devs there. You have a lot of employees. So the sentiment is it's nice, but the reality is that you do got a lot of mouths to feed. This game's got to stabilize and they got to find a way to generate some money. You can't keep the lights on for no reason, especially because I think Nexon is publishing it. Let me see. Highguard publisher. Who's publishing Highguard? Oh no, it's 100%. I don't know why I thought Nexon was publishing it. Oh yeah, I'd argue that's even because if you had a publisher, you got to adhere to the board. But nah, it's 100% self-published. You're 100% self-funded. Oh yeah, you got to generate some money. Absolutely. I think, and to be fair to the game, I do call Cap on this statement, but a game doesn't need to have hundreds of thousands or even millions of players to sustain itself, right? I think this game would be okay if it had like 20,000 to like 50,000 concurrent players and everybody in the community is buying a dedicated, like a core fan base, and everybody in the community, at least half of them are buying the battle pass or like some skins or some shit like that. Like we talked about this on the podcast a little bit. I hate the discourse around gaming where people feel like, oh, because a game only has like 20,000 players that it's shit and it's dead. Like, no, you could still eat off of that if you're making the product that, because let me explain something to y'all when it comes to business. When it comes to business, you would rather have 10,000 customers who are loyal and frequently shop with you over 1 million casual customers who come in every once in a while. I promise you would. That's why some influencers look stupid, because they have millions of fucking followers, but they can't sell a t-shirt. Yeah, I said it. You can build that. A music example of this would be, I always bring up Logic. People love to make fun of Logic, which, by the way, his first 3 albums were great. And then after that, he became corny. The current version of Logic, I think he's corny. But I would never say his career is dead, because Logic has a core fan base of like a few thousand people. And whenever he puts out a t-shirt, an album, a vinyl, whatever, a hat, the motherfuckers buy it. They buy it. And that's all that matters when it comes to sustaining yourself, especially because you're independent. You need even less sales when you're independent. So like, no, this game could be fine if it's sustained with like 20,000 plus people, but they got to put in the work. And I also got to call cap on the part of the quote where he says, I don't care if 1,000 or 100 million, get the fuck out of here. You mean to tell me somebody who worked hundreds of thousands of hours on a video game, you wouldn't prefer having 100 million people play it? Get the fuck out of here. Did you know he's biracial? Shout out to biracial Bobby, bro. Under Pressure is a great album. I want the vinyl for the space one. I think was it the greatest story ever told or something like that? I got to get the vinyl for that one. I love the artwork for it. Under Pressure is a great album too. The final average is 15,000 on Steam, and that's considered a success to so many people. Thank you. And that's what we were talking about on the podcast. One of the worst trends to happen in gaming discourse is people going to SteamDB and taking a screenshot of the player count to push some type of agenda. It gets to a point where it's like, I seen an account post this. It was like 9 a.m. in the morning, and they posted the player count of Highguard. And mind you, the tweet was like 3-4 hours old. So you got up at like 4, 5, 6 in the morning when a game is at its lowest level of players to take a screenshot. What do you gain from that? Well, I know what you gain from that. It's the gaming version of political grifting. It's gaming grifting, right? When Elon enabled payments on Twitter, oh my fucking God. Because now people are doing whatever they can to go viral. Despite, I seen someone post at like 4 a.m. Yeah, he woke up at 4 a.m. to take a screenshot of the player count. Is it funny sometimes? Sure. But I feel like it's getting out of hand. I feel like it's gotten out of hand, because I think it was Ethos who said on the podcast, at the end of the day, for you, the consumer, how many people playing the game is irrelevant outside of maybe fighting games. The only thing that should matter is if the game is fun or not, and that you enjoy that. That's the only thing that should matter. How many people playing does not indicate the quality of the game. Especially in this era where there's more competition than ever. There's more competition than ever. There's a lack of advertising. But I also got to call cap on this. You guys do want more players. Don't do that. Why else are you dropping up? If you don't care, this is why I got to call cap on it. If you don't care whether 1,000 or 100 million people play, I got to challenge the developers. Don't ever release another update. Leave the game the way it is. If that's what you really feel, that's why I got to call cap on this shit. Just keep your head down, quit talking to the press, and try to improve the game. And hopefully you can build a core audience. Wait, did you actually know their time zone? They could have been in a different time zone. Yeah, that's fair. That's fair. But with this account, they're known for grifting. So like they have agendas they're trying to push. This I'm not going to state the account. They ain't going to cloud off. Highguard's Rocky release proves that Steam reviews aren't fit for its purpose. This is something that I swear to, I don't know if this dude listened to the podcast that we dropped this morning, but this is what we were talking about on the podcast too. They need to update the Steam reviews and how they work, because I disagree. If they don't improve the game, won't they also lose their core audience? That's literally what I said. Literally what I said. I said I called cap. That's literally. Are you listening? Anyways, yeah, on the podcast we dropped this morning, we literally were talking about this shit. They need to find a way to update the reviews, because when this game came out, within 10 minutes it had 3,000 negative reviews. The tutorial was like 15 minutes. You didn't even play the fucking game. You say YouTube. I'm not gonna lie to YouTube chat, man. Y'all not beating the allegations. I bet Steam addresses reviews in some type of way before the end of the year. It has a problem. It's been a problem for a minute. Yeah, it's been a problem. Yeah, to be fair, we've seen it with other games. It's been a problem for a while. Highguard's better than you expect, given the Steam ratings. It's launched to a barrage of bad reviews, averaging extremely negative within minutes of Valve's storefront, despite it being impossible for anyone to have played enough to come to a genuine conclusion in the second since it launched. Exactly what I'm saying. Shout out to EJ with the gifted subs. The average rose only mostly to negative the next day and is now settled at mixed. It's almost like if you play the game and form an opinion, it might actually change. Any optimization-based review should require you to post your specs. That's valid. I fuck with that. That's valid. That's valid because you'll have people running around talking about, oh, the game's not optimized, but then they got a fucking, they don't even got an RTX. They got a 1080. They got a 1080 from fucking 2010 with 8 gigabytes of RAM. I think that's a valid point. You should have to, I feel like if you don't have the 30 series or up right now, your opinion on optimization in PC gaming is fucking irrelevant. I can't speak on console because every console is the same. But when it comes to PC gaming, if you don't have the 30 series or newer, you shouldn't be allowed to talk about optimization because your PC ain't even up to date. So that actually might be a good fix. Yo, shout out to Mexican Hustler with the gifted sub. Maybe like when somebody posts a review, it puts in bright red what their specs are basically. Screenshot the specs because you can lie about it. That's what I'm saying. Like maybe make it to where like they change the rules on Steam. You have to agree to show your specs. So when you write a review, your specs are displayed so people know. Because don't get me wrong, I do think the game does have optimization issues, but personally, I haven't ran into them. Yo, shout out to Airborne with the $10 super chat. He said, thank you. Interactive turn-based is a must for any game in the genre moving forward. Spring Meadows theme had me in heaven too. I don't think it's a must, but if you like it, we love it. We love it. I can't run Marvel Rivals at 4K 60 FPS on my PS4. Exactly. You got people being disingenuous. I'm not gonna read the rest of it because it just changed the art. So I think that's a good suggestion. They should find a way to where people have to share their specs if you're gonna talk about the optimization. I was suggesting on the podcast, because you can review a game, you can return a game as long as you don't have more than 2 hours. I feel like maybe they should change the rule. You should have at least 2 hours on the game before you're allowed to leave a review. Because 10 minutes is booting up the game and not even finishing the fucking tutorial. Optimization issues are from the CPU performance. Currently, you need the best CPU to hold 120 frames per second. Okay. The system requirements, one at 2080 and at 3600. It should definitely be optimized for older hardware. Yeah, and this one I can't give it a pass because this game is not even like, I'm speaking as a whole. This game I can't give a pass because it's not the most graphically intensive. This game should be optimized. I don't know what happened with that. And to be fair, this is why you always got to take it with a grain of salt when it comes to these like preview events. I got to play the game early. What we played at the event, it ran well. But I think we were playing on Alienware PCs. They were super high end, had all the best specs. So it's kind of hard to give an opinion on optimization. That's why you should always take preview events with like a grain of salt, I think. I always try to say, hey, we played a vertical slice. It might be different. Matter of fact, I did say I ran into some lag issues at the event. So servers, and I was concerned about that because I'm like, we're at a closed event where only us are on the servers and I lagged a couple times. What's going to happen when everybody gets on it? And people ran it. So I ended up predicting that shit correctly. Shout out to I feel like some people would generally just leave the game on for 2 hours just to get past that barrier. Damn, do we use time and achievements? That's fair. You're right. If somebody's, I do feel like it would nullify a lot, but you're right. If somebody's really dedicated to the hate, which a lot of people are, that is a workaround. Just leave the game on for 2 hours and then leave a review. Can I just state that like it's sad that we're even having this conversation? What's going on? Y'all okay, chat? What's going on, world? Like, and this is why I think this shit is deeper than this fucking game. I think the world is on fire right now, and a lot of people are just projecting it onto shit that doesn't really matter, like video games. Because like the hating is getting to a really weird level. There's a tutorial achievement in Highguard and 25% didn't get it. That's a fair. Maybe every game needs to have like a tutorial achievement. So if you don't get that tutorial achievement, we know you didn't even make it past the tutorial. That might be a workaround. Every game gonna have to put a tutorial achievement in. know I'm stressed all the time. And that's what I'm saying. I think people are stressed by the economy, the current political hellscape that we're living in. You might have some personal things going on. Maybe somebody in your life passed away, whether it's your pet, significant other, or like a family member. And it's like a culmination of toxicity. And I feel like people are projecting that onto things and they don't realize it. It's the saying, misery loves company. I think it is something a little bit deeper going, because I'm like, bruh, getting a little weird now. Been playing for the past 2 days and I've been having fun. Got steamrolled twice, but I'm still having fun. True. That's exactly what's happening. Everyone's projecting their problems into everything. Yeah, the chronically online shit is unfortunate. For real, hold on to your joy, chat. Find something that makes you smile. Glass half full. That's the way I try to approach the world. Like, you know, I can recognize there's a lot of bullshit on, but I always try to be, at least I got a roof over my head type shit. You could be like, at least I got a job. You always got to find the positive in something, because if you latch onto that negative too much, it's literally like the Venom symbiote. That shit will take you over. You can acknowledge what's going on in the world without letting it become your personality. Shout out to Space Cowboy with the super chat. Low IQ people are mad about the frictional characters, also referring to the Odyssey movie. Wait, what are you talking about? Because it's a kart racer for $70. Damn, let me read the article, nigga. Sonic Racing Cross Worlds fails to meet Sega's expectations. Uh-oh. Looks like the Sonic Cross World Racing is not gotta go fast off the store shelves. Sega has released its latest financial report confirming that despite strong critical reception, Sonic Racing Cross Worlds has failed to meet the company's expectations. The quote from Koichi Fukazawa, a director on the board and senior executive vice president, can be found on the PDF presentation from the Q2 financial release. He details an objective to sell a further of 1 million copies of the game over the next fiscal year, which he hopes will bolster by the ongoing release of downloadable content. So he's hoping DLC will save it. Now I'd like to talk about Sonic Racing Cross Worlds. It has received high ratings, scoring over 80 on Metacritic and earning an overwhelmingly positive rating on Steam's customer reviews. We recently announced that worldwide cumulative sales have surpassed 1 million units. However, initial performance did not meet our expectations, and we are aiming to sell approximately another 1 million units within the next fiscal year. We aim to sustain long-term sales by encouraging players to enjoy the game over time through the continued support of the title, including ongoing release of the additional downloadable content. I'm not gonna lie, hey, Sonic fans, I'm disappointed in y'all. Y'all gotta go fast ass niggas is not buying no games. What's going on, you fucking frauds? Y'all be on the internet defending Sonic and Shadow and Amy and Cream and the Chaotix crew from every piece of slander. But let me find out when it comes to actually buying the games and playing them.
Man, I'm gonna play this off stream, man. We're gonna finish this mission up off stream.
Because this is actually pretty shocking to read. I don't think this would have been the best-selling game, period, because like somebody said in the chat, it is a $70 kart racer. That's a more niche type of game, which doesn't have a lot of replayability unless you really love kart racing. I feel like prime kart racing games is back in the day when there was no online play and you were with friends. So then if somebody was cheating, you could fucking fight them in real life. But online kart racing doesn't hit the same versus when I was a kid in the 2000s and the 90s. And, you know, you would spend the night over a friend's house and get into it if a nigga hit you with a blue shell last second. You can't fight them online. You know what I'm saying? I wish I could strangle a nigga over the internet, but you can't. That's beside the point though. I think the fact that they said they've surpassed 1 million units, but they don't specify, that says to me this game probably sold 1.2, 1.5 million units. We know it's not 2. We know it's not 2. So I have a feeling this probably only sold like 1.5 million copies, which is actually pretty crazy to see. I thought Sonic fans would come out and support the thing. I also think it didn't help. This game came out in a stacked year. I mean, in a year with Expedition 33, Death Stranding 2, Kingdom Come Deliverance, Hades 2, Ghost of Yote, Ninja Gaiden 4. I'm not gonna lie. You kind of released this game at the wrong time. Yeah, Dispatch. Another Mario Kart game came out. The Switch 2 came out if you want to count the hardware. 2025 was a rough year, was very competitive, and if you can only afford 1 to 3 games a year, which is what analysts say the average person is buying, unfortunately, I would chalk this up to gotta catch it on a Steam sale. I think it'll be okay in the long run. I think it'll probably generate some sales when the Steam sales come around. It is what it is. It is what it is. It's crazy because it wasn't a bad game at all. This proves my point that like when people say gaming is dead, that's bullshit. We are seeing more games than ever financially fail. I feel like when I was a kid, games used to financially fail primarily because they fucking suck. But we are seeing more games than ever financially fail because the competition is that stiff. There's new games releasing every day on Xbox, not Xbox, but there are more games than ever releasing daily on PlayStation, Steam, and the Switch too. And then on top of that, a lot of these games don't have budgets to advertise. Some stuff is unfortunately gonna get lost in translation. And I think that's what Xbox gonna have bangers this year, to be fair. Xbox gonna have bangers this year, but last year y'all released that Hellblade 2. What the hell was that? So in the long run, keep fighting the good fight, Sega. You guys will be all right. You guys will be all right. It is. It's overwhelming. It's overwhelming. The best thing you can do if you are, I can't speak for console, but if you are a PC gamer, build up that Steam wish list. For those unaware, the Steam wish list is not just about pre-ordering. It also notifies you whenever a game goes on sale. That's how I use it. I don't pre-order digital games. Digital games are not fucking running out. I whenever I'm interested in a game, but I don't want to pay $70 for it, I add it to the Steam wish list. And when it goes on sale, you will get an email. Hey, the game's 50% off. Hey, we're having a Steam summer sale. The game is, 75% off. Utilize that Steam wish list, man. Game Pass did me so wrong. Now I just have my Xbox. Game Pass, $30 a month. They lost their fucking mind, bro. Yep, straight to email. It is a really good tool. In anime news, I know it's not gaming related, but anime news, gaming adjacent, because you guys are fucking nerds. Crunchyroll is raising the price of their service. And this is very interesting because they announced it. I saw it on Twitter. They announced it, and they didn't announce it. And then it was like, all right, we're going to do this in 6 months or a year from now. They announced it and they said next billing period, we're going to charge you more. And we don't give a fuck what you think. Matter of fact,
like, if you're a broke boy, just say so.
That's what they said. Bad news for anime fans. Popular streaming service Crunchyroll has announced another price increase across all of its tiers, including its cheapest fan tier. Subscribers will have to pay between $12 and $24 extra a year starting next month. Just one of many services that's getting more and more expensive. So now it was $8, it's going to $9, $12 is going to $14, and then 16 is going to 18. And if you wonder why, ladies and gentlemen, people are selling the 7 Cs like Luffy, joining the Straw Hat Gang, trying to find One Piece, this is why. Matter of fact, remember earlier in the stream when I mentioned how I feel like gaming discourse has gotten really weird, and I feel like because the economy is not in a good place, the world is politically on fire, people, and then you might have personal things going on. People are taking that negative energy and putting it into, grifting about video games and shit. This is an example of the economy aspect. Everybody's got a streaming service, and every year they raise the price, and every year I don't pay for none of it, nigga. But I do watch. Don't ask me how. Don't ask me how. I'm on my friend's account. It's not talking about politics. This is real life shit, bruh. This is real life shit. This is why monopolies are bad. Yeah. This is why we don't want Netflix to buy Warner Bros. It's gonna get worse. They're going. I've been said that months ago when it was first announced that it was gonna happen. I said, watch what they're gonna do. Because I can't stress enough. Netflix's decision to buy Warner Bros. Is their personal decision. I have nothing to do with that, and I honestly don't give a fuck. But what they're gonna do is they're gonna say, hey man, we just spent billions upon billions of dollars and we're gonna need to recoup it, so you gotta pay. Bro, I do not want to watch fucking Animaniacs that bad. I like it, but I find it on YouTube or some shit. Like, I do not want to watch Austin Powers that damn bad. Yo, shout out to Lil Host with the sub, appreciate it. And shout out to Timbo with the $5 super chat. Off topic a little bit, but did you see you can march with civil rights activists? And yeah, I got that saved. We're gonna get to that in the next batch